Literally most consistent. We're gonna do a tape in one day. Probably 7 songs, probably more. Probably not even the whole day. Probably don't even take that long.
Sneakers, we all rappers, but we keep racks, but we different. We all rappers, but we keep racks, so we different. She said.
The blue ones can fake be girl jeans too. That's who's the other boy? Me.
This look too perfect, no?
It look like a little like.
I hear them niggas saying fuckers better
Size
rest in
kid.
the zone.
After we done balling up in the gym, you know what I'm saying? We gotta go ball up in the other gym, you know what I'm saying?
Nigga, and just say, nigga, fuck you niggas and drop a tape, nigga. No cap.
What are you calling tonight's tape?
Most consistent. Literally most consistent. We're gonna do a tape in one day. Probably 7 songs, probably more. Probably not even the whole day. Probably don't even take that long. We got some little Mr. Whisker thing.
You got the chains on too?
Mm-hmm. You gotta shake that shit. That's how he used to be shaking. You gotta shake it. This motherfucker chunky. Like type shit. Like.
That nigga was faded.
This is the start of a massacre. This is the start of a massacre.
You gonna go over it?
Yeah, but when I do it, when I go over it, I'm gonna punch in.
Alright.
Alright. I told the bitch I'm him, I'm not one of them. Your mama wants you by the.
What's up, Buster Dusty? What's your bitch ass up, nigga? All y'all need is busters.
Hey, somebody hand me my cup. I don't want nobody knocking my cup. Not one of you.
This gonna be one of them ones.
Without kissing, sensation, pain is my choice. I like your drink in the pool.
Right outside.
Shorty with a hand and strips up with no shit. Cause not no real ass boy with no power. That's no shit talk. I swear I can go for hours. Pretty important people, especially the ones that kept it stitched. So if you can hear me, please give me the birthday sentences. They don't like the plug cause I'm all about my Benjamins. They don't like the plug cause I'm all about my Benjamins. Sometimes I be punching in, sometimes I be showing off my penmanship. Fuck with Coach Ralfy, you gon' be pitching in. Bitch acting like the fag gon' get put on detention again. I told the bitch I'm him, I'm not one of them. Your mama warns you about a nigga like me, I'm not one of them. I seen a Rolex on fake watch buster, that ain't him. I'm a coach, not no boyfriend pimp, I'm not one of them. A snitch, a buster, a mark, I'm not one of them. A 10K SI chain, this is not one of them. A 1986 two-tone, this is not one of them. I'm a coach, not no boyfriend pimp, I'm not one of them. A 10K SI chain, this is not one of them. A Honda Civic with no AC, this is not one of them. I was taught don't buy it, nigga, if you can't buy 10. When it come to stunt 101, I had to lace my friends. We gon' ball on niggas, buy trophies, and do it again. Ain't no competition, stink team for the win. They want the whole Ralfy, feet bleeding, Maylene bopping again. Watches on my wrist and still ain't got time for a broke bitch. Bitch bother me with no money, it makes no sense. A nigga with broke problems, I'm not one of them. Getting money is no problem, I'm not one of them. I ain't worried about the house. We all rappers, but we keep racks, so we different. Sneakers, we all rappers, but we keep racks, so we She said she wanted to go no weekend. There's nothing like me. I'll rest in peace, Henny beating 10 minutes. They decided when you talk about money, cause I've been getting it. I'll rest in peace, Henny beating 10 minutes. I'm a Austin Power Gold. Or these niggas my mini-me. Niggas my stepchild's my son on the mini-me. They decided when you talk about money, cause I've been getting it. I'll rest in peace, Henny beating 10 minutes. I'm a Austin Power Gold. Or these niggas my mini-me. Niggas my stepchild's my son on the mini-me.
Thank you, Fizzle.
Don't get excited when you talk about money, cause I've been getting it. I'll rest in peace and the beat in 10 minutes. I'm a Austin Power Gold. These niggas my mini-me. Niggas my stepchild's my son on the mini-me. Get excited when you talk about money, cause I've been getting it. I'll rest in peace and the beat in 10 minutes. I'm a Austin Power Gold. These niggas my mini-me. Niggas my stepchild's my son on the mini-me.
The blue ones can fake be girl jeans too. That's what I'm doing. No, I think it's 22. No,
Young baby kid known for stealing mongoose. You know some niggas that's ballin', play ball that's not open. Social club, play call niggas not open.
Ooh, see, look, this the one I want. Got master too. Or should I get the 2-tone? Or the 1-tone? Me.
The famous.
No crap.
I'm out here shooting this video. This look too perfect. No,
It look like a little,
niggas to take this long to come out with a weak ass piece. That motherfucker don't even be detailed.
that motherfucker crazy.
Too icy. Shit. Snowstorm, Ralfy.
Snowstorm, I have to get my umbrella. I have to get my umbrella for the snowstorm.
Can't forget about Whiskers.
Yeah, man, he's been around for a long time. He's been thugging it.
She got a loaf for Pastor Ralfy. She just want me to hug her right now. 5'7", the blue tips that come. Sit here and bring no money. What miss come again?
300 grand. Fly G5 Dubai, my crib start 20. I hear them niggas saying fuck us, but I'm
Sorry,
I ain't gon' practice
Truth
with
is
you
under
none.
the
Every
filter.
time I get my man, I'm nervous.
What?
Man, good looking, man. Hell yeah, you know I'll be back soon. Thank you, man. Oh, man, hoping that 24 hours, man, you know, regular vibes, you know what I'm saying? After we done balling up in the gym, you know what I'm saying? We gotta go ball up in the other gym, you know what I'm saying? Balling going on. Even when my niggas not balling on the court, they balling